What's up out there, everybody? My name is Vince. I'm the drummer, vocalist, and whistler for the band Farmacyde, and I'm here to introduce you to the band and the channel. So we'll dive right in. How did this all happen? And I have to honestly, I really have to credit Chuck Schuldner for a big portion of my musical influence. I've been playing drums since I was about 9, and I started joining bands when I was about 13, 14 maybe, high school. So 14 was joined my first band in high school. But in that freshman year of high school, another drummer friend of mine, we were on our way to a field trip, and he's sitting behind me on the bus, and he passes his headphones over to me, and it's 1991, I guess, because he had just bought it. And it was, he hands me Death Human, and we're listening, and dude, that was back in the days of double taping and stuff, so I double taped his tape, and me and him both just listened to that. It was I'll never forget, he's like, dude, he plays the hi-hat and the ride at the same time, and it was one of those things that just, for me, listening to that drumming, I was just wow, you can really do a lot with metal, that's not just, basic, and it just completely opened my eyes. So that really was a big footer and pillar of foundation for, how I, not just what I listened to, because I listened to all kinds of stuff, but how I chose to play as a drummer, and the things that I chose to focus on. That album, like I said, I just started the Twitter, and I just put that tweet up a little while ago about Death Human was a masterpiece of metal, and comparable to Beethoven's Fifth, and for real, 100%, man. That album is that album is incredible, dude. It just, I cannot. That is a badass piece of music. Anyway, okay. Fast forward. So I have a disability. I have a detached spine, and I was an electric. I played drums. Like I said, I started about 9 years old. I played till I was about in my mid-20s when I moved out here to California. I moved out here because I had met my girlfriend, who became my wife, and we're still married now, and we have 3 children, and it's awesome. But the only thing is, when I moved out, I couldn't fit my kit in my car, and we moved into a small apartment, and it was just it was one of those things where I kind of stopped playing for a while. Started focusing on career jobs and stuff like that, and trying to, move forward in life, and just the drumming took a backseat for a little while. Then as an electrician, I got hurt on the job, and found out about my disability, and that ended my working career. That was about 10 years ago. And maybe 5 years into my stopping drumming. And then a couple years into my disability, I picked up. The drumming never left me. I was always beating on the steering wheels, beating on everything around me. It never stopped. And after my disability, I realized I really needed to get back into it, just for the mental state of mind, because being in pain 24/7 just is a bummer, dude. So that's kind of how I got back into it. And then I ended up picking up we're in an apartment, so I picked up a Roland kit, and found out that I could actually express myself on it like I could on an acoustic kit, and was pretty cool. So I started hooking up with dudes online, playing in bands online and stuff like that. And I still do. I'm in a band called Caught right now, and we play. Our guitarist is a dude out of Florida, and our bassist vocalist is a dude out of Oklahoma, I want to say, or Kansas. But we've been on hiatus for a minute, and sometimes it's hard to find steam when you're not playing with, like, all the bands I played with earlier, I was playing with, like, we were playing in garages, in my bedroom, shows, stuff like that, but we were interacting with each other. And it's a little harder. Like, you can do more online. Like, I've worked with cats from overseas in, like, the UK and India and France and all that stuff before. But it's really hard to find dudes that are, like, really going to commit to making the music in an online setting. So, long story short, was I've always wanted to do my own, like, solo type stuff anyway, and the program Shreddage allows you to synthesize electric guitars in a way that allowed me to start exploring just writing the whole thing, the notes and all that stuff, and playing the drums out myself, and so this brings me to where Chuck Schuldiner comes in again. I started working on this stuff about in 2017 is when the first single for Farmacyde came out, and that was Merc. Came out on July 11th, I want to say, or something like that. And that was using, my drums and my vocals with a little bit of reverb and a little bit of echo on them, but it was all me. No like crazy pitch shifting or nothing like that. And then the drums, that was just all the straight drums. I don't use any kind of easy drummer or super drummer, drumming supreme or whatever. One of the reasons why I like the Roland is because the sound that what I play on a record, I can reproduce. If I need to play live with those Rolands, I can do the same thing live. I'm not doing nothing to accentuate the drums at all other than playing them. But the cool thing about that kit is it plays like an acoustic kit. So like for the live shows of Farmacyde, until I can get my acoustic kit back out here and together and all, I'll probably rent an acoustic kit to play for those shows. But that's getting aside myself. The main reason why I say Chuck Schuldiner for both times is because I did the Merc single, like I said, back in 2017, and I used it. My brother-in-law hooked me up with this program, FL Studio, and it had this plug-in called FL Slayer, which was like an electric guitar, but it's you can't do a whole lot with it, realistically. But it had a cool sound for Merc because I wanted like an industrial type sound. That song had a lot of personal stuff to it. All my music does. Any musician's music does, but Merc was the vocals on that were really me getting out a lot of stuff. But after I did that, I started writing the next songs on the EP through FL Slayer, but I just didn't like the sound, and I stopped. And then the online projects that I was working on started taking off, so I completely forgot about it. And then in my lap pops this program, Shreddage, and I'm listening, and I'm like, wow, those guitars sound nice. I can do something with this, I think, maybe. And so then Death by Metal comes out, and it's on Amazon and for a time. So I end up seeing Death by Metal in like the beginning of December or something like that, and I'm listening, I'm watching Chuck, and I'm reminiscing and remembering back in the days, and like going to Death shows. Like I remember seeing Death in '92 at the 930 Club, I want to say, in DC. It's a lot of shows at the 930 Club in DC, by the way. That was a awesome spot. But anyway, it got me reminiscing and all. And then as I'm listening to the show, and it's all like, do it while you can, man. Yeah, they're all dead. The whole message of the thing is do it while you can, man, because you never know when you can't. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm like, because the thing that always hangs over the head with my back is the wheelchair. Am I going to end up in a chair? So it's like it really got me thinking big time. Like, dude, do it while you can, man. Do it while you can. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, dude. I'm gonna really start focusing on this solo project. And maybe something will happen, maybe something won't, but dude, it just it really made me inspired to be like, you know what, let me put this stuff out. And you know, I've been inspired by so many musicians throughout my life, and not just playing music, but listening to music is just a very big part of my, it's a big part of my, it's a big part of my kids and my wife. It's a big part of my whole family's life here. My mother introduced me to it in a big way. My dad was tolerable, but very supportive, completely. My mom, though, she was always a music lover. My brothers, and I had, from a real young age, just a complete musical background and influence and support. And dude, music is just, dude, I can't even express what music means to me. And then metal music, it just resonates in a way that I can't even. And those of you out there who you know, metalheads, you know, it's just, there's just nothing, that groove, you know. So anyway, I started thinking, you know, I've learned so much from all these cats. I've taken so much from them, and I'm nobody, dude. I'm just a guy who plays drums and loves music, and you know, checking out the Farmacyde EP, you're probably not going to hear anything completely earth-shattering. Maybe to you it will be. I think it's pretty good stuff. I think the second EP is a lot better, and that one's going to be coming out in June, March. It's going to be coming to sneak peek early in Bandcamp. But dude, like I said, listening to Chuck and watching that show and everything, I was just like, you know what, I've got to get moving on this now, and I've got to just. This is what it is, man. This is my music, and maybe it can influence somebody. Maybe somebody will listen and be like, "Dude, that's not what I want to do." Or maybe somebody will listen and be like, "Oh, you know." But just to pay it forward. Let's face it. Any of us who are playing metal or who've played metal, you know, you're not getting rich, dude. The Metallicas and the Slayers and all that stuff are so few and far between. It's not even funny. For most of us with this kind of stuff, dude. Dude, you're not making any money. You better love it. So you guys out there who are new musicians, who are thinking of getting into metal or whatever, dude, you love it, man, because that's what you're gonna have for the most part. And I'm not trying to be bitter or anything. I love being a part of the metal community. I love what metal has done for me. My 2-year-old daughter went to sleep in her swing every night listening to Death Human, dude, and watching the Sean Reinert drum cam version of that album. You know, it's like, it's so ingrained in me. And so like I said, I'm getting off topic again. I'm getting a little excited here. But listening to Chuck well, not Chuck, because he's passed, and R.I.P. Chuck, man, thank you for everything that you've done for us. It's for real. But it like I said, that just the message was just kind of like, dude, you never know what kind of time you have. So for me, I was like, you know what, in Caught, we're kind of on hiatus right now with the holidays and everything. Everybody's kind of in their middle of their own thing. I got time. I'm not working on any musical thing that's like has to be happening. So I pulled out all my old stuff that I wrote for in FL Slayer and everything, and I replugged it into Shreddage. And I was like, oh my God! Next thing I know, I started playing the drums over top of those tracks and thinking of my ideas and everything. And next thing I knew, dude, I'm recording the EP and uploading it, and I'm like. And then, as I'm doing that, I'm like, okay, now I got that out of my system, and this second EP where I'm going to really just fine-tune, and we're going to, like, really just dig in on this one. And next thing I know, I'm like, let me just jot this idea down, and I'm freaking writing the whole second EP. So, like I said, it was one of those things. And next thing I know, like I'm finding out I'm getting a couple downloads, a little bit of thing from this, and yeah, I'm talking to my buddy, and he was like, you know, yeah, dude, check out Twitter, and you know, and now I got the YouTube channel thing here. So this just kind of happened, and it's like the crazy thing is it's like it's just, I wasn't like, I was really just planning on putting out the Farmacyde EP and, you know, silently putting out a few EPs. But it's like, you know, hey man, why not? Like, see what you know, why not, you know, push it a little bit? You know, back in the day, it's like we used to go out, we used to have a friend that used to draw good, and we'd write out a bunch of, you know, make a flyer, get copies made of it, and we'd be posting them all over polls and different stuff like that. So, you know, that's where we are. That's and Farmacyde, the band itself is going to be, it's doom metal, it's instrumental. Merc has vocals, and here and there you'll probably see some vocals, more or less just guttural growls and stuff like that happening, because I'm a big fan of instrumental music. But the goal is just to keep it heavy, man. Keep it heavy, keep it true. You're gonna hear some weird stuff in Farmacyde here and there. You're gonna see, like, if you've listened to the first EP, the bass guitar has definitely some funk type quality to it, so it brings in a little bit of that kind of a groove to things. The drums can kind of have, like, I come from Baltimore, and I grew up like in the punk metal kind of scene. I wasn't really much into punk, but hardcore punk, that's a different story. I got Biohazard and Agnostic Front and bands like that. Next Step Up from Baltimore, like those kind of fools. Like, my drumming has that kind of quality to it with the metal stuff too. And so, like, you get kind of, it's a pretty cool, like I said, it's doom metal, stoner metal, groove metal. And what we're going to be doing on this channel is just, like, see what happens, man. I mean, it's like, what do they call it? A DIY musician, a indie musician. This is just what I'm doing here. And I mean, I got 3 kids and a wife, and we got our own stuff going on. So it's like, I'm not like, you know, this isn't like a full-time job type thing. It's like, but I write music, I'm putting it out. I might as well, you know, spend 5 minutes to talk about it, you know, like, and, you know, dude, this way, you know, I've already met some people and listened to their music just through trying to support mine. That was like, wow, I've already came up with a couple cool bands. So it's just, you know, I'm finding a couple new bands through this, and it's just, like I said, it's a pretty cool little project here, that, you know, like I said, we'll see what it turns into. The second EP is recorded. It's the first EP is Farmacyde EP, and that's already out. You know, it's came out December 7th, and it's you can pick it up iTunes, you know, Amazon, Google Play, the whole. You can stream it, all that. You can buy the CD, the disc here. It's a CDR, handwritten. Each one of them has been hand drawn onto the thing, onto the CD. That's downloadable and buyable. Like I said, the CD is buyable through CD Baby and Bandcamp. So the second EP, I got that here, but this is just kind of my copy right now. This is actually, for this one, I'm gonna have these discs printed. And so it's going to be like an actual disc with the picture, probably this picture. I haven't completely decided, but the CD doesn't even come out until June 25th and March 17th on Bandcamp. It comes out a little earlier on Bandcamp. So I have a little bit of time to decide on that. And like I said, that's it. This, for the rest of the time, this channel is, I was kind of thinking about maybe a music video for one of the songs. I'm thinking maybe Ill Logic from the debut EP, the self-titled EP. So, you know, anybody who's, you know, maybe has an idea of what video to do, I'm open for all that kind of stuff. You know, subscribe to the channel, and they'll have, like, you know, if I'm going to do a video, I'm thinking, so I'll probably have behind the scenes stuff, and, you know, the video, and then just basically the different process in the journey of this band. Like I said, I've been contacted by this company called Extreme Tour, and checked them out, and they seem like, yeah, maybe something that I wouldn't mind thinking of. They do like community-based type concerts for free, to help out the community and stuff like that. So I'm all for that, and we'll see. That would require me finding a couple guys to play the music live with me. So, and who knows if that would turn into a full band where it's like, not just a one-man project anymore. But like I said, I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of digging just writing the material myself, and probably like for the live stuff, just getting a couple dudes to do the show. But like I said, we'll see on all this stuff. We'll see different stuff, like on the Twitter, and just different things that I try to see about promoting the CD to a larger audience, and seeing if it gets some good reception, and hopefully ultimately there maybe spawning some other dude, like any other musicians out there, like guitarists or whatever, who might want to collaborate through email or through what we did. We were on a website called My Online Band. And I don't know how many people have heard of that, but it was pretty cool to me because, like I said, with my back issue, it's hard for me to do the full-time band thing. Like I do it sporadically. Some days I can't play. Most days I can't. And it's like with 3 kids and all, it's very much just something that I do to help my back a lot. I try to do it to just detach my mind a little bit from my back. But it's just, I don't have the necessarily commitment time to work in like a straight up full-time running band like that, like I used to right now. So the online thing was really appealed to me because, I could get files from guys, and then, I would download it and I'd listen to it and start putting my drums to it and uploading my recordings, and, it was a cool thing. But the website shut down, and after that, the one band that I was in through that site, we continued, and we started using Box.com to share our files and put our stuff back and forth. But like I said, we've been kind of on a hiatus from that for a minute, and now it's like I'm just kind of really right now just focusing on this solo stuff. So that's it. It's been a very, very long video, introduction-wise. But, hey, who knows? Maybe you popped open a few beers or a few, you know what you do. But anyway, thanks for watching if you watched the whole thing. And this is the debut video, the introduction video for, the band and the vision of the band and all that. And hopefully you dig it, and do a get some comments going, so subscribe or whatever, and we'll have a jolly old time. All right, bye bye.